Nothing like it ever since.
Bert Chilstrom, who created Kukla, Fran and Ollie and the Kuklapolitan Players, was the true genius of this particular enclave, TV, Chicago, TV style.
Here we are, back with you again. Yes, by golly, and yes, by golly, Fran.
It was for all ages, and it was a world of grace, a world of some tenderness, a world of an aspect of the human that's been so submerged today.
Studs Terkel put on his show and got people to come in.
First of all, he got very accomplished people for his cast in this make-believe saloon. And this was before Second City. They improvised a lot. Studs would give them basically a storyline, and then the camera would start. It was live, of course, and it was good enough so that it went network. And it was just talent, pure talent, and the freedom to be creative.
Jake LaMotta, Ezra Charles, Babe Ruth. We need here a good bust of Ludwig von Beethoven.
Oh, gee, sorry you didn't appreciate our little presentation. But did you have a good time last night, Studs?
Scintillating.
With special style. It was an easy hand. It was not tense. It was relaxed. It was improvised. It was not a formula thing.
I'm your school bell, ding dong ding. Good morning. Who's at home with you? Why? Your brothers and sisters are?
We had all the good shows, and of course I know Miss Francis. I would never, I don't know what I would have done without her, because I used to work nights, and my daughter was at the age, and I think Miss Francis helped her through her early periods there.
You remember the Lone Ranger? On the radio, the Lone Ranger was about 15 feet tall. The Silver was a huge horse, and when he thumped against your earth, trees shake. Oh, steady, big fellow. You remember that kind of thing? Well, gee, when television first came, it was peopled.
But it was in black and white. The Lone Ranger didn't look anything like the Lone Ranger on radio. He didn't sound like the Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger was just a little skinny guy, slightly balding. Silver didn't look any different than the milk horse that pulled the wagon, etc. It stunted. It was a terrible shock.
And we talked about it later and thought it was one of the more horrible things that had ever happened, taking the Lone Ranger from radio to television. I still think so.
Probably emblazoned in my memory is Len O'Connor. I always thought Len O'Connor could see us, getting ready. I never understood how my mother could get dressed in front of Len O'Connor, because his face was always very close up.
In '53, it just became too commercial, too raucous, too... I'd been spoiled by all the local creativity, and I was proud of that. I was the first television critic, so what? But I'm more proud of the fact that I was the first television critic to quit.
With this increasing prosperity that came from the Second World War and after the war, the growth of the suburbs and the development of everything, Chicago was losing its heart, losing the center of focus, and they needed more skyscrapers. And the Prudential Building was finished in 1955, and it was the door opener, and Chicago was on its way again as an upwardly mobile city.
My friends and I would get on the IC and go downtown to look at the splendor of the Prudential Building, which was, the most enormous building at that point.
And it was a boxy building, but that was the modern style. Everything was a box. And I had to go downtown to see it, take a picture of it, because it was the tallest building in Chicago.
It's hard for people to imagine our city without any expressways in it. I mean, there were no expressways then. They weren't built. And the key direction was eastward from Chicago, because you then opened up to the whole East Coast, and to Michigan, to everything else. So they built the Skyway. At least it was the first step in it, and it was very much appreciated by people heading in that direction.
After a while, it sort of became a popular date thing, because you know, a guy would ask you to go for a ride, and then as you went up the bridge, of course, you had to pretend you were so frightened because it was so high up, and that he could reassure you how it was safe and everything. But just riding back and forth all night long was a great adventure.
But Uncle Willie bought a little Studebaker, and one of the great memories of my life is, you know, they had this little rumble seat in the back. My cousin and I, we're sitting in the rumble seat of this little Studebaker, driving south on the outer drive with the breeze blowing through our hair, and each of us had a banana popsicle.